It is system 3 through 7 day today at Chris's Pinball Repair, and this is the same MPU I used on a prior test, although I do have the blanking signal working correctly now. And a new driver board, or the driver board that goes with this Black Knight MPU. Again, running Victor Tan's, aka Dumbass Display Numeric Universal Williams board. This supports system 3 through system 9 of Williams. And I have the soundboard from the client connected also. Somebody had already installed some caps and didn't clean off the solder flux very well. That'll come off when I take them outside and wash them down. The only solenoid that's on is solenoid 16, which is normal. That's a coin lockout solenoid. Lamp matrix is dancing, as our old friend Leon would say. So let's put it in test. Display test. And you can see that's working correctly. And the next test is sound test. And for this part of the test, you'll just see the LED drive up that ladder, and that would indicate a sound would be emanated from the soundboard. In the System 7 game, it uses this connector to send the sound signals. I don't have those sound signals connected to the board, but I'll show you those later. The next test is lamp test. All lamps operating. Solenoid test. And again, the LED that's on is the coin lockout solenoid, and it will extinguish when it comes around to its turn. These first 16 solenoids are not multiplexed, as was done with the introduction of System 11, I guess. The last 6 are the special solenoids, a particularly problematic part of Williams 3 through 7, and those were driven under CPU control. These, now that I'm driving them, a little doodad switch, are being driven under switch control. So those are all working correctly. And the next test is switch test. Test 3, and I use my Pennytech tester for that. And I'll go through column 1. Whoops, did I miss one? Yeah, there's 1, 2. And row 1, already did 1. And the last switch that gets reported by Black Knight, since it's only reported the switches used, is 46. So that is working correctly. And in later games, you can just cycle through all these audits, and just like that, and it will reboot. So let me move my combination doodadder over to the soundboard. Get it oriented correctly. I can't tell you the number of times I've put that soundboard connector on backwards. All right, so now I can control the soundboard, and I'll control the individual tests first. Let me turn the volume up on that some. That shows that the soundboard is accepting signals from the MPU board, and here's the overall Black Knight sound test. This pot is the pot. This pot is the one that you can use to balance the sounds with the voices. So the soundboard is working correctly. Everything's good to go on this board. I will point out the original problem with this board was it was subjected to the cross connectors. That is unfortunate design error that Williams made, where it's possible to connect 2 connectors in the head, and it shorts high voltage to all of the boards. It destroyed these 3 chips I forget their numbers, and they're not on the silk screen, of course, but actually it destroyed this 7404, 7408, which I replaced with an F08. This chip was good. So she's good to go now. I have socketed the 5101 so that the client can choose their method of battery backup, and installed the LED, like I mentioned, for the blanking indication, and I'll put a label on there that the blue LED means that blanking is working correctly. So once again, she's good to go, and I thank you so much for sending it. The last thing with this Black Knight board set is the power supply. So I've replaced the 18,000 microfarad cap with a custom one from Added Great Plains. All the small caps, you can see a little solder flux, but that'll wash off. The 1,000 microfarad cap, which you don't really need to replace, but I do it anyway. And these two 63 volt and that's 100 microfarad and a 47 microfarad. This one's 330. Okay, so let's measure the high voltages. I have some connectors installed so they don't destroy my work. So this is the first high voltage, minus 96. That's just fine. 103, that's fine. Here's the 12 and minus 12. If I can get my fingers on the connectors, here's the lamp matrix voltage and coil voltage. I'll come over here and pick up the 5. And that's perfect. So thank you so much once again.